everyone, and come with me to the final trading day of the week. It's been a five-day week and the market a little bit mixed gains were coming through from a number of exchanges to head to the weekend and the final trading days of the month of April, the first month in the third quarter. Then we got a whole chunk of public holidays next week. Some folks will do 2 days, a few folks will do 3 days, some folks will do just 1 day. So it's a big mix, but just prepare for the holidays across the various markets that are taking you effectively into the month of May. I am posting number 5, the Nigerian market jumped 55 basis points yesterday after a lackluster Wednesday when the numbers came through late in the evening. Zenith Bank shares came on the market, roaring figures. Seplat Energy reported better than expected numbers, paying a cash dividend for the first quarter, the first 3 months of this year, $2.05 per share to shareholders, listed on the Lagos and London stock exchanges. Quite a very impressive numbers on the back of the roaring oil prices in the first quarter of this year. No thanks to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, pushing oil prices to highly elevated level of triple digits per barrel. That's the news this morning. Earnings in play for the Nigerian market. Guinness Nigeria reported a better than expected third quarter 2022 numbers for the brewing giant. That added to Nigerian breweries, which you had last week, and that pushed the consumer goods space much bigger. The BRVM added 16 basis points on Thursday. The Egyptian market rode about 3.07%. The NSC, that's the Nairobi market, however, continued to drag since the start of the week, and the GSE strongly better in correlation with the developed and emerging markets. On Thursday, folks buying into earnings, big tech names on Wall Street, banks earnings coming through from Europe and others. So the GSE added 1.81%, the all share index. Okay. Let's get the markets a bit out of the way and talk about the economic business and other headlines as we start. Friday, Kenya treasury bills auctioned by the central bank secured about 28 billion shillings worth of bids for the week. And the Nairobi Securities Exchange says it's postponed the coffee auction because there are shortages of coffee being supplied. And World Bank loans to Uganda was about 56.7% to about $3.7 billion over a 5-year period. That's the story for Uganda. Now the NBM Bank in Tanzania says its total investment in bonds for last year was about 1.74 trillion Tanzanian shillings. That is in the books of the bank for 2021 as the banks and others continue to report for the full year behind us. Those were late filings, by the way, if you know. Vivo Energy says it has a new service station in Rwanda. If you're in Kigali, get there, check it out, what you get in the pump. Okay, let's talk about the West African market. Of course, earnings on Nigeria's market street. Access Holdco, which is now calling itself Access Corporation, the big non-operating company listed on the NGX yesterday, reporting is annual for the first quarter, earnings for the first quarter, the first 3 months of this year, 57.41 billion. I asked the group CEO of the Holdco, Herbert Wigwe, about this earnings, and he says they did better than some of their peers, but still in line. A few fault lines there, but says the bank, the financial services group, which include Access Bank, listed on the NESE over the counter, is on track for a full year 2022 good performance. I also asked him about the $50 million bond notes that were issued a few days ago, and he says that's a chunk of change, but they're going to invest it in SMEs. Let's get the first quarter Seplat. I just talked about that earlier. Revenue 100.6 billion in local currencies, profit 57.4 billion naira. First quarter cash dividend is about $2.05. That's good news as you can get. Guinness Nigeria's net profits roughly that's about 1.996% better. That's about 6.4 billion naira for the third quarter. Guinness has June as its financial year end. Ghana's economy is on rebound on the back of the COVID-19 pandemic, now retracing somewhat around the world. That's according to Ken Ofori-Atta, the Ghana's finance minister. Then Aura Group listed on the BRVM says its profit rose 110.6% to about 19, roughly 20 billion CFA franc for full year 2021. Okay, let's get to Southern Africa, where the country's producer inflation hits the highest level at 11.5% in March. That's quite surprising. But again, that's all on the back of the further reopening and the easing of restrictions around COVID-19 in Africa's most advanced and the second largest economy. Standard Chartered said it's posted 7% uptick in profits to about $1.18 billion for the first quarter. And Pepco is expecting its first half of this year headline earnings per share to grow between 22.3% and 31.9%. Let the market be aware that's a bit of an outlook as we see the first quarter earnings of Pepco on the GSE. Zesco, it is Zambia's electricity company, and says it got $2 million in dividend from El-Sawady's Electric, which is well heeled in Egypt and a number of other African economies. Namibia's agri sector posted a very lackluster 2% growth for the full year 2021, a bit of a backward-looking economic data. Then you have Botswana's central bank has raised interest rate by 51 basis points to 1.65%, just as the IMF yesterday released its new regional economic outlook for Africa, asking central banks across Africa most likely to start raising rates to support the economy and stave off inflation and try to moderate the impact of the Russian-Ukraine war on the one hand and the global pandemic, the fallout of that, which is still on the books. So, with a twin problem or the dilemma, African economies is expected to grow less than previously forecast, from about 4.5%. Now, the IMF African department in yesterday's report is going to be 3.8% this year and 4% over the medium term. Keep that in mind. The key issues remain around food and fuel crisis, including subsidies around energy, which include petrol. Okay, let's talk about the North African economies this morning. So sum it up. Egypt has extended till the end of October the exemption given to foreign airlines landing and taking off in the country for airport fees is now been extended just to get a hold more of those guys in there, do business. But of course, you've got to give something, then you get something. Credit Agricole, that's the command. The lender says he's selling 78.7% stake in Moroccan arm to Holmacom. Indonesia's mining and phosphate exports went down 60.3% in March. That's quite a very deep dive, if you ask me. And Libya's Ministry of Economy is looking to revamp this price stabilization fund. The whole idea is to ensure that the price stabilization fund helps Libya to manage the volatility in the global oil prices. And of course, we are still looking to see if Libya's full oil production will come back full steam this week, as earlier forecasted by the Minister of Petroleum Resources. And Algeria finally is warning Spain not to resell its gas supplies to anyone else. The geopolitical diplomatic face-off between Algeria and Morocco is yet to be fully resolved, by the way. So Algeria cut off the pipeline which went through Morocco. Now Algeria is telling Spain, who's getting its gas via the Mediterranean Sea, not to resell those gas supplies. Whatever you're selling, it is Friday. It's the 29th of April. I am boasting them. Have a great weekend ahead, and it's going to be those long holidays will keep you in the loop, everyone. Enjoy the weekend, and see you next time. Go to our YouTube page and watch this show again, as well as other shows and other videos we're publishing on a daily and regular basis. Front Africa Reports, subscribe is free on our website. You can read up our stories, as well as watch our special broadcasts as well at frontafricareports.com. Then, of course, we have the social media platforms on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and, of course, Facebook. Bye for now.